You have cancer. Those three words have changed the lives of millions of people. But it's not just physical, it's also emotional. And that's where Gilda's Club comes in. Hello and welcome to Living Well with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life. Have a special guest with me today, Eileen Dillon. She is the CEO of Gilda's Club South Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I
you so much for having me, Robin.
just love your organization. You've been in our community 19 years. It'll be your 20th year celebration next year. And you have gone through a lot with COVID, and you guys have had to reinvent yourselves. But for those who may not know, just give us an overview of what Gilda's Club actually is.
So Gildas Club, which started in the South Jersey area in 2002, we currently have a Linwood location as well as satellites in Atlantic Care Cancer Center and the Inspira Health Center. We are basically here for the emotional side of cancer. What we do is we treat the entire family, the family members as well. And what we help them with is with group support, healthy lifestyle, workshops, seminars, everything to kind of treat mind, body, and spirit as they go through their cancer journey.
And you do a wonderful job at it. I know people who have utilized Gilda's Club, and it just means so much to them. You had some challenges during COVID. I mean, the whole premise of Gilda's Club, your whole model is based on face-to-face communication and group meetings. And of course, we couldn't do any of that during quarantine and the whole COVID, debacle. So you guys did something amazing. You were able to pivot and turn a lot of your programs into virtual programs. Tell us how you did that. What were the challenges with that?
So basically what happened to us, like it happened to the rest of the world in mid-March, we had to close down all of our programming, our clubhouse, our additional satellites. And that meant that we were no longer able to provide group support to our membership. Gilda's Club is based on a model that is very high touch. We create a purposely non-clinical type of clubhouse. We want people to feel comfortable here in a home-like atmosphere. They spend a lot of their time in cancer centers and clinical settings. So we want Gilda's Club to be the antithesis of that. And what happened in mid-March was that type of support was taken away from us because we weren't able to provide, the personal touch that we were used to having our membership inside of our clubhouse. Quickly, we managed to go into the virtual world. And within 8 days, our program director and our program director, Erin McAllister, and our team created an online presence. And initially, we started with just basically group support, getting our membership online. That wasn't easy. A lot of our membership are not computer savvy. So there was some growing pains doing that. But eventually, we got a good majority of our membership back online to primarily start group support. COVID created a tremendous amount of anxiety for all of us, but particularly for those who are immunosuppressed. They are, one of the most vulnerable demographics. And it was creating tremendous challenges for our membership. People were not getting treatment. They weren't able to get biopsies. The unfortunate side effect of that is we're going to be seeing later stage cancers, because for a year, a lot of this was, held up or delayed. Gradually, what we were able to do is build on this virtual programming. So initially, just putting in support, which was the most important. And then after that, we started to include some of our other programming, healthy lifestyle, meaning, cooking demos, nutritional information,
Yoga. I know you have yoga online.
Yoga,
Yeah.
And seminars, and then social pieces to it. Our book club started to meet again. Our art therapy classes started again. So we virtually, duplicated what we do in the clubhouse online. And
How was it received at first? Were people like, oh, I don't know how to do this, forget it? Or were they like, we're going to try?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look, our young demographic, they're a little bit more tech savvy. So this wasn't something that was, a huge reach for them. I do think some of our older membership really struggled the most. But I mean, we had staff sit online, you sit on the phone, you walk somebody through it. And once they do it once or twice, they understand how easily they can do it. And they truly needed it. They needed the social connection. They needed to have all of our group support is facilitated by licensed mental health professionals. So they had the people that they know and trust, trying to help them through this really difficult, situation.
Yes, for everyone, but especially if you're going through cancer.
If you've got a cancer diagnosis.
Absolutely. I just give you guys so much credit because that's just amazing that you did that. And you also have to be concerned about HIPAA regulations and all the privacy stuff. So just to be able to do that so quickly, I think that's just fantastic. And so now we're finding that many of these folks are coming from various locations that they may not have ever gone to Gildas before. We know that the North Jersey and Central Jersey Gildas are not affiliated anymore. So Gildas Club South Jersey and Little Old Linwood is the only one in the whole state of New Jersey, which is incredible.
Yeah, we are. And we're able to service the entire state of New Jersey if we're virtual. So what occurred during this period of time is that we started to expand our services. And like you said, North Jersey Cancer Support Communities, as well as Central Jersey's, they had disaffiliated with our national headquarters so that we actually have an expanded territory. And we essentially, virtually, we can help someone from anywhere. So we became, borderless. And that created the opportunity for us to actually start to grow our membership. I mean, I'd say now, with having about 18 months of this behind us, we're probably in the 150, 160 range of new members that came on that have never come into the clubhouse. Everything they know about Gildas Club is virtual. And so I don't believe that we're ever going to be saying goodbye to the virtual programming. I think it's just something that we found, to add to our in-person programming. We do want to get back in person. Of course, we'll never abandon that. But this is something additional that really works well for somebody.
Yes. COVID taught us a lot about that, as awful as it has been. It did teach us that we can do so much more. People are very creative in the ways that they communicate with one another. And for some people, there are barriers. There's geographic barriers, or perhaps they're going through treatment and they just don't feel like getting dressed and going to a meeting. So this opened up a whole new opportunity for you to reach people that you might otherwise not have reached.
Right. I mean, and even though, a lot of the world is coming back together again, this particular part of the world, in the cancer community, in the oncology world, things are going to go a little bit slower. We have to be incredibly cautious in protecting our vulnerable membership. So it's something where, it's going to be a while, I think, for some members to feel comfortable coming back in the clubhouse. But we do, what we serve is not just the patient. We're here for the caregiver and the families, as well as we have a grief group and our bereavement program. So for some folks, that are in the grief group or the bereavement program, they really don't have those additional issues of caring for someone who's immunosuppressed. They're not immunosuppressed themselves, and they're anxious to get back. So we are working on a phased-in program of getting some of our membership back, at least to start. But again, like I said, the online programming is still going to stay. We're essentially going to be doubling our program.
That is just incredible. And that's so good for many, many people. But it's also nice that you're offering the in-person options as well. Tell us about some of your programming and how it can help people, especially those who are going through cancer themselves and their family members.
Well, the group support, as I said before, it's all led by mental health professionals. And so basically what that's created around is the idea that you're in a group with people that are having similar experiences as you. And what's interesting is that, the facilitator really doesn't necessarily, run an entire hour and a half with this group of folks. Basically, people decide what they want to discuss, and they're discussing it among themselves. And they're sharing their issues with someone who's actually walked in their shoes. Or in some circumstances, in some of our groups, we have folks that stay with us and they're in there longer beyond their treatment. But they still have stressors that are concerned with cancer. So they stay within our group setting and they're able to say to somebody, who's newly diagnosed, here I am, I'm a couple years out. I've been where you were. And let me tell you about my experience. And, there's science that backs, the idea of how healthy this is for someone that's experiencing a cancer diagnosis. So it really is the membership. And when you see that happen, it's really kind of magical. I mean, it just is, the membership starts to carry themselves along. And, each group is, it's kind of defined by what they're doing. Our wellness group is for those that have been diagnosed with cancer. Friends and family are exactly that. Caregivers, living with loss would be our bereavement group. So, I mean, we have them segregated in a sense where it makes sense. But we really have seen, we've been around for a long time and we've seen, members they create relationships among themselves. They carry on friendships outside of the house.
Absolutely. You're sharing it's a bond, it's a shared experience, and it's wonderful for people who have kind of come out on the other side of it to share with those who are still going through it, to say, look, here I am and I'm doing okay and I'm able to move forward in my life. So what a great community that you have built there. And you also have a program for kids, which I know is not open yet, but it will be again. Talk to us a little bit about that. That's so important for our children, especially if they've lost a parent.
It is. We have our Noogie Land programming, which is basically the smaller kids from about 6 to 10 years old. And then we have our teens and tweens. So our teens would be, after they've kind of graduated Noogie, they're in the 10 to 12 year old range. And then we have our teen program, which actually prior to COVID was in about 5 to 6 different local high schools, where we have our program person go directly into the high schools. The high schools agreed to offer this, and the teens are able to actually participate in like a mini group during their school day. And we were really growing that program well. Unfortunately, with COVID, that was part of the demographic that we did lose because these kids were on Zoom all day. So
yeah,
we're seeing them coming back in, but we also have a phased in plan to get our teen group going. We've already had some conversations with high schools that want, for the fall semester, they'd like to see us come back in. And for the little ones, that's probably going to be one of the later groups that comes back into our building. And because there's all kinds of health concerns, kids are going to be around kids, and that's something that's a little harder to socially distance.
Yeah, yes.
So, but we're working on all that. And
good.
We had a really robust program prior to COVID. So we're looking forward to bringing that back. But it is, we have groups. Noogie Night is Tuesday and Thursday nights. For Tuesday nights, it's the children whose parent, sibling, grandparent have been diagnosed with cancer, and they're living in the house. And it's, it's something, we had a program that was really important and very powerful. And it was, what do we tell the kids?
Yeah.
How do we tell the kids?
Yeah.
And that type of thing. And we work with families to help them work through that. And beyond that, when we have our grief group on Thursdays, and these are children who have lost someone very close to them to cancer. And, that's a different type of program. But with both programs, Tuesday and Thursday nights, what we do is, the beginning is, just getting the kids in, kind of encouraging them to talk. There's a lot of art therapy and conversation. And then the rest of the hour is just, it's fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
Let them play. Let them be kids. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We've done dance parties, holiday parties. We bring in fitness type of things. So we've had karate and yoga and all types of fantastic community people that have volunteered their time and have come in, and they do
yes.
some type of entertainment for the kids. So
that's wonderful. Yeah, they need it. And it is such a beautiful facility. I've been in there many times. But you also have, as you mentioned, your 2 satellite facilities, and yes. They are very important as well. Talk to us about that.
So part of what we've decided is that we think that the future of Gilda's Club really relies in meeting cancer patients where they are. So as much as we enjoy holding and hosting programming in the Linwood Clubhouse, and as you said, it's a beautiful facility. We also find that we really need to find the cancer patients inside the cancer centers. So when Atlantic Care Cancer Center was built back in 2010, they actually built that building with us in mind. So when you come into the cancer center, at the front desk right next to the Atlantic Care employee is a Gildas Club representative. So we hold programming there, as well as we've also connected with, and it's been a new relationship and we're really excited about it, Inspira Health Centers and their cancer center, in both Vineland and Mullica Hill. And we're expanding our boundary out that way as well. And essentially, right now, what we've been doing is our Atlantic Care members and our Inspira members have been participating in virtual, but we're excited to get those cancer centers back in person too.
Absolutely. And you also have groups for men. I want to say that because a lot of times people think Gilda's is just for women, and it is
No.
not. And it's for all types of cancers and caregivers and families. So I just want to always make that point whenever I do
Yes.
something on Gilda's,
Thank
because
you.
there's
Yeah,
still that misconception out there, and
there
Gilda
is.
was a wonderful woman to get this started because she saw the need
Absolutely.
for people to do this.
Absolutely.
What do you hear from members? What do you hear about members who are in your programs and groups? It must make such a difference in their lives.
It does. It does. And even for me, because I'm non clinical, and I am more of an administrative role, I don't get the face to face with the membership. But what I do miss right now is, when we do come back in person, is just going into the kitchen, grabbing coffee, grabbing my lunch out of the refrigerator. Our members are all throughout this clubhouse. It's like a big home, and you get the opportunity to kind of sit with them for a few minutes, and then they share their stories. I mean, we've got members that love talking about what Gildas Club has done for them, and far beyond their cancer journey, but how it's helped them. And it's really it really makes you feel good. It's a lot of hard work. I've always said, nobody's getting rich working for a nonprofit,
No, no.
wearing 1,000 hats. It could be the toughest job ever. But the give back is essentially when you do see the smiles on their face, or the idea that they can tell you that you've made a difference in what may quite possibly be the worst time of their lives.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm sure it is. And many people may not know that you're not funded by the government. You rely on the generosity of people in our community. Tell us how that works.
Well, yeah, you're correct. We do not receive any type of state, federal funding. There is no Gilda Radner fund. There is no family of Gilda Radner that writes us a check. There's been a couple misconceptions about that. We have our own budget that we have to raise every single year. So what we do is we always say what is raised here stays here. And we're out there with all any type of funding that we can get our hands on. We're happy to get back to in-person events.
Yes, I know that was challenging during COVID. You had to cancel everything,
Everything.
and that makes it tough. But you have some events coming up, one in July and then one towards the fall. Tell us about it.
So in July, we have our 5th annual Dragon Boat Festival, and this has become really a hallmark signature event for Gildas Club South Jersey. And we host it out at Lake Lenape. It's Sunday, July 11th. It's an all-day event. It is featuring a dragon boat regatta, so that we have heats of dragon boats racing during the day. We have food trucks. We have a beer garden. We have Tito's comes with their vintage Airstream, which is amazing. We also have a cornhole tournament. We have inflatables for the children. I mean, we really create like a fun festival type of atmosphere. And we're out there from 8 a.m. until about 4 p.m. that day. And it's great. I mean, for anyone that's interested in paddling in a dragon boat or entering into the regatta, I would ask that you call the clubhouse at 609-926-2699. And as far as spectators are free. Just
Yes.
and it's interesting. This will be the third one that I've participated And the people that come and are spectators one year end up being paddlers the following year because they see how much fun.
It is so much fun. I was in it a couple years ago. I was a paddler, and I thought, oh boy, can I do this? It's really not hard. It's easy.
It's all
Yeah, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun, and the whole event is fun, and it's a great family day. It really, really is, and I just give you a lot of credit because that's hard to put together a big
It is, and this year is,
event.
it's not without its additional challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost we lost a little momentum by not being able to host it in 2020. But we are seeing, it's interesting. We are seeing that there's still a great response and people want to get out. I think people feel comfortable, enough with an outdoor event.
Yes.
Lake Lenape is beautiful campground. There's tons of room to move around. And they can feel more comfortable being in an outdoor event as opposed to if we were having something this large indoors. We have somewhere between 800 and 1,000 people in through the gate that day, and it really does. It's a tremendous fundraiser for us.
Yes.
Dragon boating actually has a history with the breast cancer community. And so it does kind of go hand in hand with us. We have a lot of breast cancer survivor boats that come to us. They've been with us all 5 years and they come back each year. And but it's also a great community event.
It really is. And it's good for people to be aware of all the wonderful things you do. And it's a great way to let them know about it through this event. And you also have another fundraiser coming up in the fall. What's that all about?
Well, in the fall, what we have is Let's Do Brunch. Let's Do Brunch is a fantastic event that will probably be going into its, I'm going to say maybe its 7th year. This year in particular, we're going to be honoring very prolific board members. And everyone in the community knows Dr. John and Ann Baker.
Great people. Great people.
Mm-hmm. Ann was one of our founding board members. John has been on the board. I always say that over our entire history, there's always been a baker on the board. They are unbelievable. They're an unbelievable family. They've been incredibly generous to us, and they're winding up their time on the board. We're really excited to honor them.
And when will that be?
That is November 6th at
Linwood. Okay, Linwood Country Club, November 6th. I'll put a link to your website and your events in the show notes so people can find it easily. And I just give you so much credit for being able to pivot and bring your programs to people online and to continue to do all the wonderful work that you do and helping so many people in our community and now throughout the whole state of New Jersey. So congratulations to you and all your fabulous folks there. I know a lot of them, and they're just such wonderful people. So continue with your wonderful work, and hopefully this brought some attention to Gilda's Club.
That's awesome. I really appreciate all your support as well, Robin.
Oh, it is my true pleasure. Thanks so much, Eileen Dillon, CEO of Gildas Club South Jersey. And thank you all for joining me today for Living Well with Robin Stoloff. Empower you to live a healthier life. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, please stay safe and keep living well.